quite well.
Oh.
Yes, I speak English. I speak English quite well.
Quite well.
Do you go to the cinema quite often? Do you go to the cinema quite often? No, I don't go. I don't go to the cinema quite often. Do you think learning English is quite easy, quite difficult, or very, very difficult? Do you think learning English is quite easy, quite difficult, or very difficult? I think learning English is quite easy. Quite difficult. Is pure water bad for the body? Is pure water bad for the body?
No.
Pure water isn't bad
Isn't bad.
for the body. It's good for the body. Is wine we buy in shops always pure? Is wine we buy in shops always pure?
No.
The wine we buy in shops isn't always pure. Isn't always pure. Sometimes it's pure. And sometimes it's impure. Do you ever promise to give something to somebody and then not give it? Do you ever promise to give something to somebody and then not give it?
Yes.
I sometimes promise. I sometimes promise to give something to somebody and then not give it. Do you always do what you promise to do? Do you always do what you promise to do? No, I don't always do what I promise to do. Are waiters and waitresses always polite to people in restaurants? Are waiters and waitresses always polite to people in restaurants? No. Waiters and waitresses aren't always polite to people in restaurants. Sometimes they are polite and sometimes they're impolite. Aren't teenagers generally more polite than adults? Aren't teenagers generally more polite than adults? No. Teenagers aren't generally more polite than adults. They are generally less polite than adults. When we want to speak to somebody we don't know, what's the first thing we generally say? When we want to speak to somebody we don't know, what's the first thing we generally say? When we want to speak to somebody we don't know, the first thing we generally say is excuse me. Give an example, please. Excuse me. Can you tell me the way to the station? Please. Okay, perfect. All right. What's the plural of wife? The plural of wife is wives. Do husbands in this country generally help their wives in the house? Do husbands in this country generally help their wives in the house? Yes, husbands in this country generally help their wives in the house. If you can't answer a question during the lesson, who helps you to answer it? If you can't answer a question during the lesson, who helps you to answer it? If I can't answer a question during the lesson, the teacher helps me to do it or to answer it. Okay. If you help me, do you think we can lift this table together? If you help me, do you think we can lift this table together? Yes. If I help you, I think we can lift this table together. Which is the most common drink in this country besides water? Which is the most common drink in this country besides water? Coffee is the most common drink in this country besides water. Do you have a fire at home in winter? Do you have a fire at home in winter?
No.
I don't have a fire at home in winter.